Hi guys, it's Chloe, and I'm gonna do the episode 1 review for the Vampire Diaries, and I hope you like it. And my cat's in the picture. So I'm going to do a review about the first episode of the Vampire Diaries because that's what it seemed like you guys wanted me to do. Basically, the episode starts out with two people driving in a car and Damon attacking them. And then it goes to Elena writing in her diary talking about how she's going to smile and it's going to be believable and all this stuff. And in the first episode, I really liked when Elena and Bonnie were driving to school. Bonnie was talking about how she thought she was psychic because it ran in her family. I really liked the fact that they brought a whole bunch of stuff into that. Like even that little conversation. Bonnie said, I predicted Heath Ledger. And I like when TV shows tie things into real life. I just really liked that little bit. And when she brought other things into the conversation that weren't entirely just the show, so it made the show look more realistic and believable. Then it's kind of like Elena keeps seeing this crow, and the crow is sitting on the sign, and at first I didn't know, I thought the crow was Damon. I didn't think that Damon was controlling the crow. I thought that Damon was the crow, because that's how it is in the books. Damon is the crow in the books, and vampires in the books can actually shapeshift into different animals. And that's a really big part of the Catherine plot in the books. I've only read The Fury, and I'm on moving on to the 4th book, so we'll see how that plays out in the rest of the books. So next, they're at school, and let's see, cue Stefan coming in with Ray-Bans on. What is it with vampires and Ray-Bans? Has anyone else noticed that? They all wear the same exact style of sunglasses, and I get that the sunlight hurts their eyes and stuff, but I'm just like, really? I just started laughing, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's Edward. I mean, I know I said I don't want to compare the Vampire Diaries to Twilight, but the pilot, I'm honestly going to say I didn't really like the pilot of the Vampire Diaries. I almost stopped watching it, and I'm so glad I didn't, because it is such an awesome show now. But I know the pilot turned a lot of people off to the show because they thought it was too cheesy or it was just unrealistic, and it was a cop-out of Twilight. But when people say those comparisons, Vampire Diaries was written in the 1990s. Twilight came out later on, so the Vampire Diaries was written first. So technically, Twilight copied the Vampire Diaries, if that's the way people are going to say stuff about it. Oh my gosh, I noticed this while I was watching. It's so weird. All the characters look so young and so different. I'm so glad that the way their characters morphed during the show, I can say that I like how they look now compared to when they did at the beginning, because Jeremy looks like he's about 12 years old, and he's sitting there smoking, and I'm just like, he looks like he's about 12 years old. I just couldn't get that out of my head. I'm like, what? And then the whole thing with Jeremy, Tyler, and Vicky likes Tyler, and Jeremy likes Vicky, and Vicky won't date Jeremy because he's Elena's little brother, and Tyler's still gonna beat Jeremy up even though he knows that he's Elena's brother, and that whole bit. And and I like when Tyler's like, he wants his nail polish back. Then it goes to the cemetery scene with Elena writing in her diary by the cemetery of her parents' grave. This is the part I didn't really like, because all the fog and stuff, I just thought it was a little bit over the top. Honestly, I understand why they added it, but I just thought it was way over the top and really unnecessary, and it honestly made the scene look cheesy. I don't know. And then the crow came, and then Elena goes running and falls. She falls and hurts herself and stands back up, and who's right in front of her? Stefan. Okay, talk about creeper. Why the heck was Stefan following her? I know he's like, I need to be close to her, I need to know her, but why? Honestly, that's a little bit much. If I saw a guy coming up to me and talking to me in a cemetery that just randomly appears everywhere, I'd be a little freaked out. And then Stefan's eyes start freaking out, and he's like, did you hurt yourself? And she's like, lifts up her leg, and she's bleeding, and then he runs away randomly, and it's like, okay, what? Where the heck did Stefan go? That's kind of weird. And then I think the next scene is, it goes to Stefan writing in his diary, and there's a picture of Catherine in it, and that comes to the question, why does Catherine look like Elena? That's the first time you put those two things together, and you realize that Stefan's here because of that comparison in the beginning. And I'm not saying he is at the end of the series. In the beginning, he's there because he's curious about why Elena looks like Catherine. Then I think the next scene is when they're at the party, and of course there's drinking and bonfire and every other party and on TV, and then Stefan shows up. and Elena and Stefan talk, and Tyler and Vicky go off in the, I almost said Tyler and Jeremy. Tyler and Vicky go off in the woods and are making out, and Jeremy comes up and sees Tyler forcing himself on Vicky, and it's like, hey, get off of her. And that makes Vicky mad because she's like, I can handle myself. I didn't need you to do that. Which makes Jeremy mad because he's like, I just helped you out and you're still mad at me. What did I do? So we'll come back to that later. Then Stefan and Elena talk about he's a new guy in town, he's mysterious, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. They go back to the party part later on, and that's when Vicky gets attacked by Damon, and Jeremy finds Vicky, and he brings Vicky back to the actual party, and I don't know. I just thought it was a little weird because, like, Matt I don't know, it kind of foreshadowed that Matt knew that it was Stefan, because he looked up and Stefan was looking at him, and Stefan got all like freaked out, like, oh god, I need to get out of here. And so Stefan leaves, and it shows Matt looking at Stefan. So the first time I saw the pilot, I thought that Matt was gonna figure it out about Stefan, and he still hasn't. And that's kind of confused me because in the books, Matt and Stefan's relationship is a very, very big aspect to the books. Matt always helps Stefan out and Elena out. Then the next scene, I think this is one of my favorite scenes of the episode, is when Damon actually shows up at the Salvatore boarding house and is like talking to Stefan about when's the last time you had anything stronger than a squirrel and all that. I just think that Ian Somerhalder was great in that scene, and when Stefan like freaks out on him and goes to the window, that part was really cheesy, but it doesn't matter. The dialogue was perfect when he's like, I said stop, and like freaked out, and Damon, yeah. I thought it was great, and I love that once the camera pans down to the scene where they're on the ground. Damon's like, I was impressed, I'll give it a 6 missing style, but I was pleasantly surprised. And then he's like, very good with the face saying it was good. And I love the face Damon does, it's so funny. I would do it, but I would look like a freak, because only Ian can pull that off. And then also in that scene, Damon says something about the sun's coming out, you need your ring. So that's a lot of foreshadowing about the ring and the curses on the rings by the witches and how it protects them from the sunlight. That's a really big, lots of foreshadowing there. Then the end of the scene is Elena inviting Stefan into her house to talk about things. And I love when he's like, sorry about my disappearing act, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, it's okay, I get it. Blood makes you squeamish. And he's like, something like that. And I just thought that was brilliant. The whole scene with Carolyn in the bar, and why don't I get the guys? Why does Elena get all the guys? And I know I really like that scene because a lot of girls can relate to that. And I just thought that Candice Accola did an excellent job with that scene. She was very believable in that scene. So yeah, that was basically episode 1, and I hope you enjoyed this. I did what you guys said. This is what you want me to do. You want me to recap all the episodes, so that's what I'm going to do. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye. Say hi. Now say bye. She wants to be in, oh, now my phone's ringing. So I'm going to do the review. I don't want to reference this to Twilight at all because I hate those comparisons. I hate when people compare them, and I'm doing it. Awesome. Great. Oh my god, I'm doing it. Okay, stop. I'm going to stop right now. So he was controlling Damon. I didn't think that oh my god, I can't talk. Something about, or Pete Wentz called, he wants his eyeliner back or something weird. I think that's what he says. Or nail polish back? He says nail polish. I don't know which comes first. I can't remember. I just watched it and I'm like having short-term memory loss. Best ones were, oh my god, my camera's falling. Woo! So I am on, oh my goodness, because only Ian can pull that off. Okay, you want me to do it? Fine. He's like, ah, thing. Yeah. I did it. That's embarrassing. Okay, anyway, next.